Tensions in Parliament over the murder of Wasim Tajuddin. Parliament adjourned twice.
President says that winning an election is not mere victory of a political party itself, but a victory of the opinion of the majority of the society.
Consumer Affairs Authority introduces a maximum retail price for 6 items.
Syria rebels agree to regime talks without Assad.
7 nominations for the Sri Lanka cricket elections rejected.
Good evening and welcome. This is Primetime News here on MTV and Shakti TV. I'm Ramesh Bandara with Aishwarya Pinto in the studios. Good evening, Aishwarya.
Good evening.
Well, there were tensions in Parliament over the murder of Wasim Tajuddin, and elsewhere around the country demonstrations over the budget proposals.
And in sporting news, Sri Lanka attempt to engineer a comeback on the second day of the first test against New Zealand. Details of these stories after the break.
On to our top story tonight, the All-Party Meeting on concerns pertaining to demarcation of local government bodies was held today.
Speaking at the meeting, President Maithripala Sirisena noted that the people's mandate needs to be represented in the election.
On to more local news now. We will have more on that story later on in the bulletin. Parliament was adjourned this evening following a tense situation that arose during the debate surrounding the death of rugby player Wasim Tajuddin, as tensions brewed between government and opposition MPs as Edward Gunasekara, who was in the chair, adjourned Parliament.
In the Geneva resolution, it was mentioned that we are thankful for the Hussein report. What does this report consist of? It said that the war heroes and military of the country committed systematic crimes. This is a 3-decade war. The Hussein report says that during the final stages of the 3-decade-long war crimes under systematic crimes have been committed. In conclusion, the Hussein report notes that it quotes this from the Darusman report. Therefore, the bit experiences that the innocent people for 3 decades have not been included in these reports.
Systematic crime ගැන කතා කරනවා.
You speak of systematic crimes. We are aware of what was done to the rugby player in the country, Tajuddin.
ක්‍රීඩකයාට කරපු දේ. තාජුඩීන්ට
Government MPs need not provide interpretations to matters that are being taken up in court. I request that this be removed from the Hansard. You only cannot mention matters of the case in Parliament. There is no obstruction on speaking on the incident connected to that case.
With regard to the Tajuddin case, only a beer.
කරුණාකරලා නිශ්ශබ්ද වෙන්න. කොහෙද කොහෙද? මොකද කරන්නේ? කරුණාකරලා ආසන වලට යන්න. කරුණාකරලා ආසනයට යන්න. සියලු දෙනා තමන්ගේ ආසන වලට යන්න. ඔව්. යන්න ඕන දකින්ද?
නෑ නෑ. ඔබතුමා උඩට ගිහිල්ලා
No, සභාව විනාඩි 10කට කල්ත බලනවා. ඔව්. මේ සභාව 10කට කල්ත බලනවා.
After Parliament reconvened, proceedings were adjourned for a second time.
I make this request respectfully. We are taking part in an important debate. Please allow us to engage in this debate while protecting prestige of Parliament. It is for the first time that I witnessed a group of MPs assaulted and threw things at another MP who was speaking while standing. This is because when this MP was speaking was better for them, they tried to stop this. Honourable Speaker, there is television footage for this. We ask you to look into this, inquire into this and act against the associates of Rajapaksa who are trying to bring ruffian politics into this parliament.
විශේෂයෙන් මුජිබුර් මන්ත්‍රීතුමා සබ් ජුඩිෂියේ උසාවියේ පවතින කාරණාවක් පිළිබඳ now you have finished your part. Listen. You're the foreign minister.
You go ahead. Don't disturb. Don't disturb. Let him go ahead. Let him go ahead. He has the right to speak.
අපේ ගරු or foreign minister, I must respect you because you are holding the office of the foreign minister. So please behave like that.
The name of an MP was not mentioned. How many times have we spoken of murders in this parliament?
If you all want to go,
The chair issued a certain order on this matter. The right of stopping that speech and removing it lies with the chair. He cannot use force here. No one can obstruct an MP who is speaking in parliament. This is what happened. I will look into this. I will review the footage. Please be seated. I will look into this. And now we will continue the proceedings. I only mentioned the name of Tajuddin. I was threatened. MPs Johnston Fernando, Sanat Nishanta and Indika attempted to assault me. They challenged me. They said that they will assault me in the future. If my life is threatened and if I am assaulted, the speaker should take the responsibility.
මගේ ජීවිතේ තර්ජනයක් වුණොත් මට යම් කිසි පාරදීමක් ඇති වුණොත් ඒකේ වගකීම තමුන්නාසේ කතානායකතුමාට බාර ගන්න ඕනේ.
මම ටේප් බලලා තීරණය දෙන්න. ඒක පිළිගන්න. ටේප් බලලා තීරණයක් දෙන්න. ඔව්. 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 හැබැයි මෙතන හැසිරීම හොඳ මදි. මෙතෙන්ට ඇවිල්ලා කියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ නේ. ඔක්කොම ඉඳගත්තා නම් මම අවස්ථාව දෙනවනේ. කතා කරලා meeting is adjourned.
The all-party meeting on concerns pertaining to demarcation of local government bodies was held today. Speaking at the meeting, President Maithripala Sirisena noted that the people's mandate needs to be represented in the election.
Party meeting on concerns pertaining to the demarcation of local government bodies was held in Battaramulla under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also attended the meeting. The President's media division said that 64 political parties made their representations at the meeting.
We need to have one objective to change the preferential vote system and move it to the new election system that we aspire for. The relevant act was passed in Parliament, but the Committee on Demarcating Electoral Divisions has not accomplished their duty so far. Around 2,000 appeals were forwarded to the committee regarding the demarcation of electoral divisions. I am of the strong view that we need to act in a manner in which the incumbent committee would not have to face those same allegations. If the expected task is not fulfilled by taking a less amount of time, we will have to face the accusations starting from the day of passing it. Winning an election is not a mere victory of a political party itself, but a victory of the opinion of the majority of the society.
It is paramount that we hold the local government elections next year. Two party leaders made announcements in Parliament over the matter. We said that we need to hold the elections before the 30th of March. As this matter was being raised, I said that we need to have the elections before the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. The process was questioned. I said that I cannot make a statement there. Here we have all the party leaders. When a decision is being made, the party leaders will have to make a decision in Parliament. We need to make a decision as to under which system the elections will take place before the end of the year. As the Elections Commission, the chairmen of the Elections Commission said that if this election is to take place, 55 amendments need to be made to the existing law. We need to pass all of this in Parliament in January next year.
I need to mention that if we fail to hold local government elections according to the divisional system, we will be moving back from the promises that we made at the presidential election in January. The people have a request for the creation of a public representative who will be accountable to the village. After we accomplish this, we can extend this process to the provincial council and parliamentary elections.
Local government is the small unit. This unit needs to be created according to the wishes of the people living inside it. However, if this is done in the wrong manner, that mandate of the people will not be represented. It will bear different results. Allegations were made that the division system would create tensions among the communities. The allegations were raised over the demarcation. The geography had not been taken into consideration. The demarcation has been on political reasons. If there is a disadvantage politically, that would be made into one. However, in our report, we have divided that into two separate sections. Following the all-party meeting, a tea party was hosted for the gathering.
United People's Freedom Alliance MP Geeta Kumarasinghe was emotional when expressing her views in Parliament today. When a woman from India was sentenced to be stoned to death, Indira Gandhi took a firm decision. She said that if the woman was stoned to death, 100 persons of that nationality in India should be arrested. An American national was arrested for murder in Saudi Arabia. That government was compelled to rescue him and take him back. We need to think more on the innocent women. Do you think that they are skilled enough?
තීන්දුවක් ගත්තොත් සෞදිය මම හිතන්නේ ලංකාවේ සෞදි අරාබියේ ඉන්න අයට වැඩිය ලංකාවේ සෞදි අරාබියේ ඉන්නවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ දැඩි තීන්දුවක් ගත්තා.
Please do not panic. You might even favor this act that is taking place. Please remember that this is just an example. Please be seated.
ඒක නිසා ඔබතුමා ඔච්චර නෙට්ට උස්සගෙන දගලන්න එපා. ඔබතුමාගේ කට වහගෙන ඔබතුමා දැන් වාඩි වෙන්න. ඔබතුමා කට වහගෙන වාඩි වෙන ලක්ෂ 5ක් කාන්තාවෝ රාජකාරී කරනවා.
500,000 women are serving in those countries. Men like you are never stoned. Only women are stoned. As Jesus said once, if there is anyone who had done no wrong, to throw the stone. You have no right to speak on this matter.
සංයමයෙන් මෙච්චරලා කතා කරපු ගීතා කුමාරසිංහ මැතිණියව ප්‍රകൃතිය තත්ත්වයට පත් කර ඇව අපහසුතාවයට පත්.
I am sad that MP Geeta Kumarasinghe was made uncomfortable. She was making a good speech.
The Women's Empowerment Program launched by Newsfirst to promote awareness on gender equality, safeguarding and empowering women took place in Rambukkana and Anuradhapura today.
Making a special announcement in Parliament today, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the government has taken a decision to increase female representation in local government institutions by 25%. The Prime Minister emphasised that the draft bill on increasing female representation in Parliament as well as local government institutions will be presented in Parliament in January.
Now, incidentally, today marks day 9 of the Empower the Woman awareness program.
She gives life to the world. She is an example for unconditional affection. She is one who strives to rise on her own effort. The Empower the Woman campaign is aimed at uplifting the women in our society. One leg of this awareness campaign took place in Rambukkana today. This campaign, which is organised by Newsfirst, Sirasa and Shakti, aimed at empowering women with equality and security, is carried out together with the assistance of the Sri Lanka Police, Ministry of Provincial Councils and Local Government, District Secretariats and Divisional Secretariats. also given the opportunity to raise the issues that they face.
Thus far, we did not see the women being empowered. However, now they have come forward for their rights. This is an opportunity for you to speak up for your rights.
We are thankful for the Sirasa Media Institution for coming forward and educating the women of this nation. By this, women will be able to speak up for their rights. Following the program in the town, the team moved to Shravastipura and engaged in the awareness campaign.
On to more local news now. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe commented on the chairman of the Government Medical Officers Association, Dr. Anuruddha Padaniya, in Parliament today.
I wish to mention this about the GMOA. I was speaking to two officials of the GMOA. We welcome the discussion the GMO had with the President and the Minister of Health. All organizations that meet me will not get to meet with the President again. To be honest, I don't know why they are requesting to meet me if they have trust in the President. That means that they have no trust in the President and Health Minister. I will tell you one thing. Padaniya played an important role in ensuring that the doctors and medical officers do not support President Maithripala Sirisena when he stepped down from the post of Minister of Health and made the announcement. A majority of the medical officers supported President Maithripala Sirisena. The medical officers informed me of this. If they unanimously say that such a thing did not take place, I will withdraw this statement. All the medical officers state that they won't unanimously. In fact, like the Dalai Lama, he distanced himself from the situation. Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanika spoke regarding the actions of the government medical officers.
The medical officers are innocent. There are still a few like Padini who supported Mahinda Rajapaksa. Let's see how much the corruption may have escalated in a few days. I am asking this from the media. We are the doctors. Who is the person getting a president's salary and another salary, and without shame gets a parliamentary salary of 120,000 as well? Who does this? If one of you does this, you will be arrested on corruption charges. Does he enjoy something different because he is a former president? More will come to light in the coming weeks. The Government Medical Officers Association issued a communique with regard to the statement made by the Prime Minister. It stated that the Prime Minister had said that the GMOA criticizes the fact that money will be provided instead of the fertilizer subsidy. The communique states that the association does not criticize the said matter in any way. It stated that as a group of expert professionals who promote the consumption of poison-free food and minimized use of agrochemicals, they educated the public. The communique issued by the GMOA states that the new fertilizer subsidy program coincides with the objective of the association in terms of the use of fertilizer in the country, and that the introduced system is better than the one that was in effect before.
The improvement of Sri Lanka in the eye of the world, as well as Sri Lanka's undertaking to the international community, were discussed in Parliament today.
Now all the world leaders, they were praising the improvement in Sri Lanka, especially for the restoration of the rule of law, restoration of the values and principles of the democracy, the restoration of the independence of the judiciary, the protection of the human rights during the recent past, from January to up to now. With this, of course, that there is a greater recognition to the Sri Lanka as a sovereign country, not only by the Western countries or the America, the whole world, including India, China.
The Honourable Minister of Justice, who just preceded me, said, our pristine glory has been restored, in his own words, by agreeing to reasonable suggestions, by taking steps to implement our own undertakings to the international community. I am emphasizing some of these provisions, some of our undertakings, for the reason that although some of the undertakings have been clearly articulated by the leadership of the country to the people of the country, there are still others which are not being articulated very clearly. And it seems that that is also by design. And I'd like to ask the question as to why is the truth not being told to the country?
Take the final decision regarding the architecture of the special courts once the consultation process is over. In fact, we are putting the finishing touches to the consultation task force, and we hope to begin the consultations by the 10th of January and finish it by March. And by March, we should have a clear idea on the actual the contours of this special mechanism.
The Consumer Affairs Authority has imposed a maximum retail price for 6 items. Thereby, the authority will take legal action if the items are sold above the imposed maximum price.
The maximum retail price for a kilogram of broiler chicken will be 480 rupees under the new price revisions by the Consumer Affairs Authority. A kilogram of dried fish will be sold at 410 rupees and a kilogram of dal will be sold at 169. The maximum retail price of a kilo of queen dry fish will be 1,100 rupees, while the maximum retail price of salia dry fish will be 425 rupees. The price of a kilogram of chickpeas will be 169 rupees. The Consumer Affairs Authority says that if producers, importers, distributors and sellers sell products in packages or containers, a sum of 5 rupees more than the maximum stipulated price can be charged.
The 2016 budget of the government was criticised by several members of the opposition.
In order to encourage the private sector to encourage international investors, the process of recruiting individuals into the state sector, even for a low salary, needs to be stopped. If they are to be attracted to the private sector, the privileges that they enjoy in the state sector should be curtailed. The barriers that are present when buying and handing over land by foreigners needs to be taken out. The foreigners should be allowed to bring in money to the country. Low human resources needs to be available. Now the 8-hour working days have been extended to 9 hours. It is all right not to give anything new to the people. However, we cannot bear when there are curtailments. Who says that the budget has not provided concessions? Who says that the budget is a fraud? Who is a part of it? The JVP criticizes the budget in public. They were a major shareholder in putting the current government to power on the 8th of January. Ravi Karunanaike said that he will produce a radical budget. As a result, the aspiration of the people went up, and now those very aspirations of the people crumbled very fast within 24 hours. Now the people understand that this is not a radical budget but a medical budget for a national economy. To increase the income of the government, the direct taxes have been reduced and the taxes on goods and services or the indirect taxes have been increased. The effect of the indirect taxes will be felt by the public after the 1st of January in another 20 days. The week starting from Monday up until the 19th has become a week that we protest against the complete public pressure.
Neutrality Day is the second most important state holiday in Turkmenistan and is celebrated tomorrow. Shamir Rasuddin reports from Turkmenistan.
20 years since achieving neutrality in Turkmenistan, a conference will be held tomorrow here in Ashgabat, Turkmenistan, to mark this significant milestone. Several high-ranking officials of the United Nations are due to arrive in Turkmenistan tomorrow to attend the 2-day conference. Security has been beefed up in the city ahead of tomorrow's conference, and the conference will be held under the auspices of the Turkmenistan president. We are not yet clear who the state leaders who would be attending tomorrow's conference are going to be. I'm Shamir Rasuddin reporting for News First from Ashgabat, Turkmenistan.
The leopard is one of the 5 big cats and is classified as near-threatened species. Over the past, a number of reports surfaced on the killing of these animals as a result of human activity.
Mostly sighted in the dry zone of Sri Lanka. As the leopards are leaving the national parks and entering into the central hills, there have been many reports of leopards dying and also attacking humans. A woman was killed in a leopard attack in Nawalpitiya last year. Last September, it was reported that a leopard died caught in a trap in Kikliyawana. Last September, a leopard died after it was caught in a trap in Norelia. A leopard also died in a trap in the Poyston estate in Hatton, and 3 people in the Lytton estate in Hatton were injured after a leopard attacked them. Last evening, a leopard died after it was caught in a trap in the Puparasa area in Gampala.
actually I would not like to call it human-leopard conflict like human-elephant conflict, because it creates a situation in the country that really doesn't exist. The wildlife department has to do its work. I think leopards will, after much bloodshed on both sides, leopards in those areas will go extinct.
The arrest of the former chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission was discussed on the Newsline program aired this morning.
As you know, the former chief of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Lanka, and a colleague and another person,
it's Dhammika
Pereira and Ronnie Ibrahim from another organization, were all remanded recently, a few days ago. Information has come to our light that Dr. Godaheva has had some interesting visitors. They include, in the last few days, the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, his son Namal Rajapaksa, the state minister in charge of the prison, I think this is Mr. Jayaratna, Dallas Alaperuma and Kelia Ramukwela. All made a little pilgrimage to the prison hospital, which is where they're being held. I mentioned this just to get you thinking on the wider issues there.
Did these same people visit Sajin Vaskunawardena?
I don't know if they visited Sajin Vaskunawardena. But
Honorable Namal Rajapaksa would have visited the prison because he was the beneficiary.
Well, that is it is entirely possible because it was his organization that has caused havoc. And you know,
I don't think he realizes that organization caused havoc in the past. I don't think he realizes.
The thing is that organization and the younger Mr. Rajapaksa, there were some reports in some newspapers.
That was an organization. That was an organization.
There was another project.
If I may say this, that was an organization who could call up any organization in this country, government or private, and demand funds. And those funds are channeled to those organizations. And I think somebody should look into those matters and see as to what extent, to what degree, to what extent monies have been swindled.